Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. This is the Sunday show. September 7th. If you want NFL, I do separate football videos. So I did the NFL show late last night. So if you want the deeper analysis on that, I talked about every game. So you can go check that out. Thanks for everybody that hung out with me last night for that. Yesterday was a 5-2-1 day on the show. I mean, it should have been better than that, to be honest. I rehashed it last night, but baseball, I mean, we started out with the win on the Yankees. Unfortunately for me, because I don't like the Yankees, but they got the win on the first 5 innings for my play, and they did win the game outright, too. Then the under in the Mets-Reds game wound up being a push. It looked like it was dead early. Then, middle of the game, there weren't many runs scored, and it looked like it was going to actually hit, and then it wound up being a push. I mean, that one was a bit of a roller coaster. Could have gone either way, really. And then the most frustrating one was the Houston-Texas game, obviously. I mean, Houston-Texas, I thought that Texas would be the bullpen to carry us to that under there. The starting pitching was a duel, like I thought. If we'd gone first 5 innings under, it would have hit, which frustrates me even more, man. Trying to decide between first 5 and full game, it is so frustrating when one hits and the other doesn't, and you're on the wrong one. I didn't expect Texas' bullpen to be the one that imploded, and that's what happened, as Houston, I think, scored 8 runs in the final 2 innings of the game to win 11-0 and push it way over when they were winning. I believe they were only winning 3-0 going into the 8th inning, so it looked like the under was a sure thing at that point. And Houston's was the bullpen I was more worried about. I mean, it's ridiculous because they were the less rested pen. It might be a different scenario today, though. And then we did get the under in the first 5 in the Dodgers-Orioles game. The way that game ended was crazy. I mean, I talked about it last night, but I don't even think I talked about the full extent of how ridiculous it was. Yamamoto was 1 out away from a no-hitter with a 3-0 lead. He gave up a home run. I think they took him out, and then the bullpen proceeded to lose the game, and the Orioles won 4-3. So the Orioles went from being down 3-0 on their final out, about to be no hit, to winning the game in a walk-off in that same inning. It's insane. The Dodgers, they can't get it right, man. I mean, I'm not sad about it. I don't really like the Dodgers, but it's ridiculous. And then college football, we had a good weekend. We went 3-1 in college football yesterday, 4-1, including the Friday night game that was also a winner. So yesterday we had Troy, where it looked like Troy might actually pull off an outright upset for a while until Clemson decided to get their act together after Troy was beating them 16-0, I think. Clemson scored most of the rest of the points in that game to win the game, but never came close to covering. I don't even think they scored enough points to even cover in a shutout. And the same thing happened later with LSU. LSU didn't even score enough points to even cover the number if they had pitched a shutout, and they didn't because Louisiana Tech scored a touchdown in garbage time at the end to avoid a shutout and get on the board. So that was a wire-to-wire easy cover on that one with Louisiana Tech. We took a loss on Middle Tennessee, which was a bit annoying. I mean, they were down 14-10 at halftime. Looked like they were going to be within that number. I mean, it was a 4-touchdown spread, and then they basically didn't score again. I think they scored one more time, and they still only failed to cover by maybe 3 points or something like that, and they were driving towards the end of the game. It's just like, kick a field goal, man. Let's just cover the spread here. But I think they turned the ball over or something like that because they were trying to score a touchdown. Ugh. So that one, even that one was close. Like the losses yesterday were, and the push obviously was close, but the losses yesterday probably shouldn't have been losses. And then we did get a win on Rutgers, which was a little bit dicey earlier in the game. They were kind of alternating between being ahead by 10, ahead by 17, but they kind of ran away with it at the end of the game. So that worked out. We'll talk about today. I do have 3 NFL plays, which are all very contrarian, and you guys probably hate them all. You can go watch my analysis on the show. On the show from last night. I won't rehash it here because we got to talk about baseball. We have the Jets +3, the Giants +6, and Houston Texans +3. You can go see my analysis on those from in last night's show, and I'll do like short Instagram videos in a little while, so you can see those too. We're gonna have 2 baseball plays today as well. We do have afternoon baseball today. We do have WNBA as well, which I'm going to talk about first. Not terribly interesting, although Indiana is playing, and it seems like Indiana is now seemingly saying that Caitlin Clark isn't even going to be back for the playoffs if they make the playoffs. So you got to question, like, what is their mindset going to be here if they know that if they make the playoffs, which I think is somewhat likely right now because they have a 2.5 game edge over the Sparks, who also play today and are a big favorite though. So it'll be interesting if Indiana loses and LA wins, then the gap closes a little bit. It'd be interesting because Indiana has one more game after this. They could technically still, I think, fail to make the playoffs, and LA could still get in. But I think Indiana has to lose all the rest of their games, and LA has to win all the rest of theirs. So it's unlikely. But I think that's the scenario there. But Indiana, like, what's their mindset? Like, are they going to be really focused on the game today because, they know Caitlin Clark's not coming back. So I don't know, man. Indiana, they did win their last game against Chicago pretty handily, though, by 20. So they do seem to still be playing with some sense of purpose, decent basketball. They've been playing decently recently. Now they're going back on the road to face Washington. Washington's been playing really bad. They've been playing like a team that's out of it. They've lost 8 games in a row, I think is what that is. So they're playing like a team that just knows that they're dead. With Indiana coming in, I don't know how much focus Washington will bring because they know Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham aren't there. And Indiana's down from 6.5 to 6. Hard to really tell which way the money is coming in right now. Those percentages I don't think are very accurate. Indiana's public, 75% of tickets. That makes sense. I mean, no public bettor is going to want to take Washington with the way they've been playing. I mean, I'm going to stay away from it. It's a really difficult game to handicap. I'm not going to give out a play on any of these. LA obviously is trying to potentially make the playoffs here, so they want to win. They are returning home from a road trip, which is a difficult spot, as I always talk about. It tends to be a bit of a distracted spot. You have to get back to home life. They were coming back from Atlanta, so they're flying basically across the country to come back. But they do get a matchup against one of the worst teams in basketball, Dallas. Dallas has lost a bunch of games in a row now. I can't even count that high. What is that, 9 games in a row that they've lost? And they're on a 4th straight game on the road, so that's pretty difficult for Dallas as well. So it's not exactly a great spot for Dallas either. LA has dropped a little bit from 9.5 to 9. They're the team that has motivation here, but they're not going to be motivated to win by margin here. They just need to win the game. So, I mean, it is a return home spot for them. It's a tough game to handicap, man. I don't even really want to give out like an opinion on it because I don't really have a strong opinion. And then Chicago, Vegas, this game, Vegas is playing well, man. They've won so many games in a row at this point. I don't even know how many games this is, 13, 14 games in a row. They're up in one of the higher playoff seeds now. They're still playing to get one of the higher seeds. They just beat Minnesota, and I told you Minnesota had nothing left to play for there. Minnesota's already locked into the 1 seed, so that game didn't really matter that much to them. It was a big win for Vegas, though. Now Vegas is hosting Chicago, and they did just win at Chicago. Vegas don't have to worry about not making the playoffs. They do have to worry about potentially like making sure that they get the seed that they want in the playoffs. But, I mean, that's not really motivation enough to cover a spread that's this high. They're down from 17 to 16.5. Maybe this will be a game that Chicago gets up for, as they don't have many games left. They just lost by 20. Second straight road game. It's a good Vegas team. Maybe Chicago will show up and play a decent game for once. That would be the way I would lean. I would lean plus Chicago plus the points in that game. But they are definitely also the way worse team, though. But it's just Vegas. They don't even have to win by margin here, right? They just could be in a situation where they could just get in, get out. And Vegas with Becky Hammond, I think, is their coach, former WNBA player for I forget which team she was on. Was there a San Antonio team? I think there was, and now it's not there anymore. I don't even know, man. But I think that's where she was. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I misremembering all that? I don't fucking know. But she's their coach, I believe, and she's known for resting players in games like this. So, like, if they have a big lead, their starters will probably come out of the game. Even though I know Asia Wilson is trying to vie for the MVP, but I think Hammond will still be like resting players if they get into a situation where they have a big lead. Major League Baseball, I'm going to give out 2 plays. Try to run through this whole card here, man. Seattle at Atlanta is the first game up at noon Eastern. My plays are not going to be until the 1 p.m. slate, and then one of them is in like the 4 p.m. slate. Atlanta actually got obliterated yesterday, 10-2. Waldrop actually, he did okay-ish. As he's the talented rookie for Atlanta, but he had 5 walks yesterday, which is unlike him. So Atlanta did lose. This is now the rubber match of the series. Seattle does have more to play for because they're trying to fight for a playoff spot. Atlanta is pretty much out of it at this point. I would say, Seattle definitely has the better offense, although they've dropped a little bit down to 12th, so they actually don't have the better offense by that much. Seattle does have the better bullpen by a bit as well, as you can see here. So just things to take into account there. As far as the bullpen usage yesterday, Atlanta did use a bunch of relievers. I know it's September call-up, so the usage doesn't matter as much, but Seattle pretty lightly used, actually. So Seattle's bullpen is in better shape coming into this one. Seattle has Luis Castillo on the mound. He's having a pretty good season. Again, 3.94 ERA, 1.29 whip. The whip is a little bit too high, though. And he's also way worse on the road, as basically every Seattle pitcher is. 5.4 ERA on the road. That's not good. He's given up 5 or more in runs in 3 of his last 4 outings, so he is not pitching well right now, man. He is in not very good form. His last time out, he didn't make it 5 innings. It was at Tampa, so I know it's a difficult stadium to pitch in, hitter-friendly, but still not a good sign, giving up 5 earned runs there. He did have 5 strikeouts and 1 walk, so his strikeout-walk ratio was all right. His command was all right, but his ERA was over 6 in the month of August, too, so he's not pitching well right now. His numbers against the Braves are mediocre in 100 at-bats. 16-8 strikeout-walk ratio is mediocre at best. I mean, it's not very good. 260 batting average, 705 OPS is okay, but I don't know that I would trust Castillo in this spot. He's up against Spencer Strider for Atlanta. I don't know if Strider is very trustworthy either right now, though. He's the younger pitcher, probably has the higher ceiling out of the two, but he has shown glimpses of being his former self, but he's kind of had an injury-plagued season. He's trying to return from injury, and it hasn't been that great for him. 4.97 ERA, 1.39 whip. He is a bit better at home, 4.81 ERA, which is still not great. Last time out, he gave up 3 earned runs at the Cubs, which is decent. Cubs, good lineup, but he only had 1 strikeout and 3 walks, so his strikeout rate has been way down over his last 4 starts, which is not a good sign, because Strider is a guy that relies on his strikeout stuff, and it has not been there. Atlanta's lost 5 starts in a row of his. He had 3 or fewer strikeouts in 4 starts in a row. He's failed to go 5 innings in 4 of his last 5 starts. 3 of his last 5. He actually made it the last 2, but his only really good start was against Miami out of the last 2, and even that, his strikeout rate was low. Had an over 10 ERA in August. Yeah, he's just not pitching well right now, man. He's not that good against Seattle either, although it's a small 20 at-bat sample size. They only have 6 hitters who have faced him before, but they have a 300 average, 1,114 OPS, and a couple of home runs off him from Canzone and Robles. So I think it could be an over, man. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking in this game, even though Seattle's bullpen is still in good shape and pretty good. I think basically all the other components are there for an over here. Actually, Fuck. It looks like Joey Wentz is now pitching for Atlanta. So Strider must be hurt or something, man. So do we have to re-handicap this now? I think that makes it even more likely to be an over, though, if that's the case. You know me. If you watch my show, I don't really think Wentz is very good. Wentz, 5.12 ERA this year, 1.45 whip. He has a 7.41 ERA at home. Just awful. Did have 8 strikeouts and 1 walk last time out at the Cubs, but he gave up 4 earned runs. Giving up 4 more runs in 2 of his last 3 outings. I wouldn't trust Wentz either in this spot. The Mariners, good numbers against him in 36 at-bats, 278 average, 822 OPS, couple of home runs off him, 7 of 4 strikeout walk ratio. So this is still an over, in my opinion. The total's actually gone up now to 10. I think part of that had to do with the pitching change, though, to Wentz, because it was at 8.5. I don't think the money alone would move it that significantly on the total. You could still find, you probably can't find a 9 anymore. It's gone way through the 9, but I would still lean to the over in this game. I won't make it a play, but I think that's the way to go here. 71% of tickets, 100% of the cash on the over. Obviously, I don't buy that either, but I think the over is the best way to look at this. Seattle has taken some of the money and the line flipped to Seattle. I think part of the reason is because of the pitching change. Wentz not getting a lot of respect from the odds makers here. Seattle flipped from plus 113 to minus 110. They're also the only team with really something to play for here. 78% of tickets, 98% of the cash on them. I struggle to want to back Castillo in this spot, though, man. So, again, I think the over is the way to look there. Stacks, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. All right. Cleveland at Tampa Bay. This is actually a 4-game series, or Tampa got the first game, and then they lost their long win streak, and I told you that might hang them over into yesterday, and they did lose a close game yesterday. So Cleveland has won 2 of the 3 games in the series now. Cleveland has the better bullpen out of the 2 teams. Tampa has the better offense out of the 2 teams. Tampa, a little bit more bullpen usage. Cleveland's is a little bit lighter, so Cleveland definitely has a bullpen edge. Starting pitching in this game, Parker Messick, the rookie for Cleveland, is going. He's got a 2.08 ERA, which is obviously good, but 1.33 whip, so his whip is getting a little bit high. We're looking at a small sample size here, man, and his ERA on the road is 3.48, so all the runs he's allowed have been on the road in 2 starts, and he's now having to pitch at a pretty hitter-friendly ballpark here, Steinbrenner Field, where Tampa plays, so he might not adapt to this very well. His first 2 starts of his career were both really good. He gave up 1 earned run across those 2 starts, but then he came out and did really badly against the Red Sox last time out. Gave up 3 earned runs in 3 2/3, 9 hits allowed, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So he might be starting to fade a little bit here. That's obviously not a good sign for him. And now going to another pitcher-friendly park doesn't seem great. Also, Tampa has seen him before, even though he's a rookie, because Tampa was his second start, and he did shut them out for 7 innings. But I think part of that had to do with the fact that Tampa was unfamiliar with him, and now when you have a rookie pitcher like this, and now that lineup is facing him for a second time, the lineup has a little bit more of an advantage that second time. So you have to kind of figure out, does Messick actually match up well against them? Or did he have a huge edge because he was unfamiliar to them, and now Tampa will turn it around and hit him better? That's the decision you got to make here. Tampa does only have a 167 average, 375 OPS off him in those 24 at-bats, 6 strikeouts, no walks, and 1 extra base hit, a double. From who else? Diaz. But again, I think Messick will do at least a little bit worse in this game. Drew Rasmussen is pitching for Tampa, 2.74 ERA, 0.97 whip. He's having a good season, and they're managing his pitches pretty well. They're not letting him go that deep into games. He's efficient with his pitches, so he usually gets you through 5-6 innings and doesn't throw that many pitches. His ERA is almost the same, home and away. Home road splits, solid as far as how consistent he is. He's given up, before last start, we gave up 3 earned runs to Seattle, all on solo home runs. So he got maybe a little bit unlucky there in this home run-friendly stadium here. He'd allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in how many straight starts is that? Well, some of those weren't starts, though. So I would go 7 straight starts. So he was not allowing many runs at all over that span. So he is in good form, man. In August, had a 1.53 ERA and 26-3 strikeout walk ratio. He's held Cleveland's offense way down in his career in 28 at-bats. Not a huge sample, but 8-1 strikeout walk ratio, 143 average, 315 OPS, so very low OPS. So Rasmussen has done really well against Cleveland. I would lean to Tampa in this game, maybe keep it to the first 5 innings. The money is coming in on Tampa. I mean, I don't love the bullpen situation, how it sets up for Tampa. I think Cleveland does have the advantage there. So the biggest advantage for Tampa, I actually think, is the starting pitching here. Tampa up from minus 143 to minus 151, 67% of tickets on them, 96% of the cash coming in on them. So the money coming in on Tampa a bit there. You'd probably have to go a run line to get the price down for Tampa, either on the full game or in the first 5. But for full game, you'd have to maybe split the run line and money line, half the bet each. But again, I think first 5 might be the biggest advantage they have there. Oh boy, it is raining out too, man. Something to keep in mind with the Patriots game today. It is raining up here, and it's somewhat cool. So I don't know if that might affect it, because I talked about it last night. I said I think the under might be worth a look in the Patriots-Raiders game here. The weather might help that out, even though I know when it's slick surfaces, sometimes that actually helps the offense. But if it's raining like this in bad conditions, it can kind of affect like the throws too. So it'll bring the total down probably too low, though, so maybe there won't be any value anymore in playing the under, because when it's raining like this, the total will drop, because it does mostly affect the offense more so than the defense. What else was I even going to say here? I don't even know. Dodgers at Baltimore. Of course, Baltimore had that ridiculous, dramatic win after it went from L.A. having a no-hitter with 1 out to go to the Orioles winning the game on a walk-off. Totally crazy. And scoring 4 runs in the 9th inning to do it. Dodgers, I mean, you got to figure they're going to come out motivated after that, though, because they're about to get swept on the road by both Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That would be unbelievably embarrassing for a team like the Dodgers. And they're still trying to hang on to this lead in the division, which, by the way, Cleveland and Tampa Bay, they both don't really have anything left to play for. So that comes down to kind of a matter of those teams playing out the stretch. Although Tampa, I think, is better than what their record looks, as I keep saying. Cleveland is not as good. Anyway, LA, I do think the Dodgers are going to come up with some motivation here, man. After that, they're still the better team, especially with the offense. They have the better offense. We know this. Their bullpen is a little bit better as well, and they used less of their bullpen yesterday, although not by much, but a little bit less than Baltimore did, although Baltimore really just only used a long relief man. So bullpens are somewhat of a wash, although I think the Dodgers' bullpen is actually maybe the slightly better one, even though they haven't been that good this year. Baltimore's isn't very good, yeah, so I'm correct about that. You can see the bullpen ERAs right here. They're like 0.3 runs better. And then we have starting pitching here. Clayton Kershaw pitching for the Dodgers. He's having a decent shortened season that he's had so far. He's still pitching pretty effectively. 3.28 ERA, 1.18 whip. He's been better on the road, too. 3.18 ERA. Did give up 4 runs last time out against Pittsburgh, though, which is a little bit concerning. 4 walks in that game, and his strikeout rate is obviously down from what it used to be in his career, but I mean, that's expected given how old he is. But he was effective up until that last start. He'd given up 1 or fewer earned runs in 4 of the previous 5, and the only start where he gave up more was 3 earned runs allowed against Colorado on the road at that hitter-friendly ballpark in elevation. So those all looked pretty good for him. I just don't know what he was doing against Pittsburgh there. He had a little bit of a backslide there. Does that mean he's falling into bad form, though? I don't really think so. I think it was more of an outlier type of game. Remains to be seen, though. I mean, Baltimore's offense isn't that good, and they also don't have that much experience of him. Only 4 hitters have seen him before. 18 at-bats. I know it's a small sample size, but 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 167 average, allowed 433 OPS. So Kershaw has held them down in that limited sample. He's going up against Tomoyuki Sugano, who is the older Japanese pitcher that the Orioles brought over this year. He's had an okay major league debut season, 4.41 ERA, 1.32 whip, a little bit higher than I would like, 4.12 ERA at home, so he is a little bit better at home. Last time out, he got smacked by San Francisco, which is not a good sign. At San Francisco, I mean, they're not a really good offense. It's a pitcher-friendly ballpark, so he's given up 4 more runs in each of the last 2 outings now, which is not a great sign. Although his command numbers remain fairly good, 24-7 strikeout walk ratio in August. So maybe, I guess you could argue he got a little bit unlucky, but I don't know. He gave up a lot of hits in that game, though, man. He was giving up way too many hits, too much contact. I had a 4.55 ERA over that span, so he's pretty mediocre. Dodgers have never seen him before, so maybe that's a little bit of an edge to Sugano because, again, he'll be unfamiliar to them, and they have to kind of figure him out on the fly. But the Dodgers, of course, their offense is good. They have the ability to potentially hit him. So I prefer Kershaw out of the two starters in this one, which seems a bit obvious. I mean, you know you're going to pay a tax, though, with the Dodgers with Kershaw on the mound. They're up from minus 155 to minus 157 here, and 86% of tickets, 97% of the cash. But it looks like the public and the professionals are all siding with the Dodgers here. I'm not really going to disagree with it. I mean, I would probably still lean that way, but you have to lay a price with it. I mean, that money line seems a little bit too high, or you'd have to lay a run line with it. Still don't really love that idea, but that's what we have going on in that game. That would probably be the still the preferred way to play that game, for me at least. Milwaukee at Pittsburgh. This is an interesting pitching matchup somewhat. Pittsburgh about to get swept by the Brewers here. So the Brewers, will they overlook Pittsburgh after they've dominated the series, basically? Well, not dominated, really, but they won the first two games with some amount of ease. Pittsburgh has only scored 3 runs in the series, so they're back to their bad offense. We know Milwaukee has the better offense here. Milwaukee actually has the better bullpen. Milwaukee, they're trying to make sure that they hold on to their division, so they have something to play for. Pittsburgh, I mean, they'll show up because it's Milwaukee coming into their place, and Pittsburgh's trying to avoid a sweep, so there will still be motivation on both sides. Will Milwaukee overlook them now that they've won the series already, and they have Texas up next, which is a bit of a bigger opponent they have to face there? Maybe. It's possible they overlooked them in this spot. Milwaukee has Misiorowski pitching today, though, and he's been difficult to handicap this year, man, so we'll see. But I got to look at the bullpen usage real quick. Milwaukee used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Pittsburgh used 2, so Milwaukee, Milwaukee does still have the bullpen edge. They're a little bit of the better bullpen. Misiorowski for the Brewers here in his rookie season. I mean, he's a really talented young pitcher, throws really hard. He's been a mixed bag this year, though. 4.5 ERA, 1.15 whips. The whip is still good. He walks somewhat too many guys right now, though, man. He doesn't allow a lot of hits, though. But he has a 7.23 road ERA, so he hasn't been good on the road. Pittsburgh has seen him before, so that unfamiliarity edge that he had the first time he faced them is not really there anymore. I believe Misiorowski outdueled Skeens in that game. He went 5 scoreless innings against Pittsburgh in Milwaukee and had 8 strikeouts. High strikeout rate, of course, for him. But he hasn't been that good recently. He's only gone 5 innings once in his last 4 appearances. Actually several appearances, basically since the All-Star break. Had to face a difficult lineup, or a couple of difficult lineups in a row, actually. Cubs, Arizona, Philly. I gave up 3 earned runs apiece in all those games. Didn't really go deep into any of them. Still had decent strikeout numbers there. His walk numbers did go down his last couple outings, but he's not going too deep into these games, but he is stepping down in class to face Pittsburgh. And maybe Pittsburgh being familiar with him now after hitting against him once still won't even help them. They have 13 at-bats against him. Only 2 hits as far as Pittsburgh's current lineup. No extra base hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, a 154 average, and 368 OPS. So my guess is he's still going to come out and pitch well in this one. That would be my guess. I think he'll probably get you about 5 innings in this one and probably throw too many pitches, but probably hold Pittsburgh's offense down. Pittsburgh has Bubba Chandler listed as their starter. He's a young guy. He's pitched a little bit this year. I think this is his first season in the majors. 2.25 ERA, 0.83 whip. Those are good numbers. He's made 3 appearances so far. Pittsburgh has actually won every game that he's appeared in. He didn't give up any runs in his first 2 outings. Then he gave up 3 last time out against the Dodgers. Which is who they're, I was going to say, is that who they're playing here? No, that was the previous year, is what I was saying. No, they're playing Milwaukee here, another good team. So Milwaukee will be unfamiliar with him at least, but he gave up some runs against the Dodgers. Still, his numbers look pretty good, though. He's got 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, so his command numbers are pretty good. Chandler might be decent, although he's gotten 4 innings exactly in all of his outings. So I guess you're looking at him probably giving you 4 innings again here is probably the plan. Yes, he has the unfamiliarity edge because Milwaukee hasn't seen him before. I mean, it's kind of an interesting matchup here, man. I think the way to look at this game is probably first 5 innings under, maybe. The total went down from 8 to 7.5. 81% of tickets, 97% of the cash on the over. I'm not really sure I buy that. I mean, I think this game is going to be a lower scoring game early in the game with these two pitchers here. That would be my guess. You have to probably go under 3.5, though, so it's a bit of a dicey total to go under there. I wouldn't really want to deal with the bullpens with that. Milwaukee's also a public road favorite, down from -148 to -146, 81% of tickets, 96% of the cash on them. I mean, I have some concerns, obviously, about laying a price like that on Milwaukee. I mean, you're getting charged a tax there to play a team like Milwaukee in a game like this against Pittsburgh. And it doesn't even look like that high of a price. So it seems a little bit questionable to go with that route there. So again, we'll see what happens though. Next up, we got Toronto and the Yankees. I'm rooting for Toronto here, man, as a non-Yankee fan. The Red Sox basically are going to be out of it. The Red Sox have way too many injuries. Red Sox are completely falling apart right now. Fucking sucks. This is the rubber match in this series, so Toronto will maintain their lead in the division regardless of what happens in this game. It's a big game for both teams. They're fighting for playoff positioning here. Yankees won yesterday after losing the first game. Yankees won 3-1 yesterday. I did give them out in the first 5 yesterday, which was also a winner. Yankees used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. The bullpen usage has been a lot heavier recently, though, than Toronto's. So Toronto has the more rested bullpen here, which is also why I didn't want to include the bullpens in yesterday's play. The bullpen advantage probably shifts back to Toronto here. Neither bullpen is that good. Toronto's has been pretty bad recently, but being rested here, I think they do have a little bit of a bullpen edge. The Yankees have the better hitting, although both teams can definitely hit. And then we have a decent starting pitching matchup here. The Maxes. This game is cranked to the max, I guess. Max Scherzer against Max Fried. Scherzer for the Blue Jays having a pretty good season at his old age. 4.11 ERA, 1.13 WHIP is pretty solid. He's actually better on the road. 3.6 ERA on the road. Last couple outings weren't as good. He gave up 4 earned runs apiece in each of them, but he still did have 6 strikeouts and only 1 walk. So even though his strikeout rate went a bit down in that last outing, he had one really bad outing really against Milwaukee last time out, but he was pitching well prior to that. Still had a 3.34 ERA in August, 23-8 strikeout walk ratio. He's faced the Yankees twice this year, both at home though, and he gave up 2 earned runs in 5 innings in one of them and 4 earned runs in 5 innings in the other. And did have 11 strikeouts and 1 walk over that span, so his command numbers are pretty good. So he did okay against the Yankees this season. And his career numbers against the Yankees are also fairly good. 195 at-bats. He has a really good 82-10 strikeout walk ratio, 215 average, 684 OPS. Certainly it's possible the Yankees can hit him, but I think Scherzer, he definitely does have the ability to come out and at least limit the damage here. Max Fried, pitching for the Yankees, is the younger of the 2 pitchers. He's having the better season of the 2. 2.98 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. He's been better at home, 2.34 ERA. So both pitchers are in their better home road split. And Fried, after he was really bad for like a couple of months, he's been pretty good over his last 3 starts. He's allowed 1 earned run or 0 in his last 3 starts. His walk numbers remain high, though. He has an 18-8 strikeout walk ratio over that span, so that's still not great. He's still walking too many guys, man, so he's kind of getting away with putting guys on base. So I do worry that maybe Fried is wearing down a little bit as the season progresses here. He's kind of approaching the highest innings total that he's had. He's approaching basically what he did last year, and then the only season where he threw more innings than that was back in 2022. So maybe a little bit of a concern there that he's going to be wearing down somewhat. His numbers against Toronto are good, though. On 111 at-bats, 19-9 strikeout walk ratio, 216 average, 599 OPS. And I do think overall the Yankees are the better of the 2 teams, unfortunately. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I said I thought the Yankees would still win this division, and I recommended taking them at plus 280. Because you could do that at the books out there at the time. Yankees are up from -148 to -168, so pretty significant movement on the Yankees. 80% of tickets, 90% of the cash on them. I don't know if I buy the cash percentage there, but seems like the money is coming in on the Yankees. Unfortunately, I think it's too much of a price to really lay with them in this game, though. Like, I don't know, it seems, you're always pretty much going to get taxed for the Yankees. That's just the way that it is, especially with Fried on the mound. So it does seem like it's too high of a price, especially at this point. So I wouldn't want to deal with that. 73% of tickets, 96% of cash on the over. The total just kind of sitting at 8.5. I would more have a tendency to lean to a first 5 under in this game, though, because I do think it's going to be somewhat of a pitching battle between the two maxes there. So that's kind of the way that I lean in that game. White Sox at Detroit. Detroit is trying to maintain their lead in the division, of course, so they have a lot of padding here, but they also would like to get the 1 seed and have home advantage. It will matter for the Tigers because they are good at home. The teams have split the first 2 games of the series, with Detroit getting a shutout yesterday behind Skubal 6-0, and Martin Perez did not do that well for the White Sox yesterday. Detroit has the better offense here. Detroit has the better bullpen here, and they didn't use a lot of their bullpen yesterday. They're the better team pretty much all around. The White Sox used a little bit more of their bullpen yesterday. The starting pitching, though, I don't really love either of these guys the way that it stands right now. Davis Martin for the White Sox, 4.06 ERA. 1.3 whip. He's having an okay season, which is his 3rd season in the majors, actually. I actually thought it was his 2nd. He is actually a little bit worse on the road, though. 4.57 ERA on the road. Kind of bounced back a little bit. He had a rough outing 2 starts ago, but it was against the Yankees, so maybe you give him a pass for that. Only lasted 3 2/3. He gave up 3 earned runs. He gave up 3 earned runs last time against Minnesota, but he lasted 6 innings that time. Did walk 3 guys, though. So he's walked 3 exactly in 4 of his last 5 outings. So his walk numbers, that's not good, man. He's walking too many guys right now. Up against Detroit, 57 at-bats. Has a 281 average, allowed 726 OPS. 7-2 strikeout walk ratio is all right, but he's allowed too many hits to them, man. Too much contact. The OPS is not terribly high, but I don't trust Martin. Don't trust the form that he's in. He's walking too many guys. Detroit can definitely do some damage against him. He's going up against Charlie Morton, who finally seems to be tailing off at the end of the season here after he had a nice run for a while. He had a horrific start to the season. Baltimore put him in their bullpen and then brought him back into the starting rotation. And after they did that, he was way better. Then Baltimore wound up trading him to Detroit, and he was pitching pretty well for Detroit for a while, but his last couple of outings have been a couple of his worst. So he actually looks like he is now in bad form, whereas I thought he was pitching well for a while and in good form, but now I would say he is not. 5.51 ERA for him, 1.51 whip. That's not good. He's got a little bit of a worse home ERA, 5.53, but that's between both teams that he's been on, Baltimore and Detroit. Last 2 outings, like I said, he went 5 or fewer innings in both of them. One was at the A's stadium, though, so maybe you give him a pass for that because the A's, that stadium, the A's can hit well, but that stadium is just very hitter-friendly. Still did have 7 strikeouts in that one. Then his last outing at home, he got bombed by the Mets, gave up 6 earned runs, only lasted 3 2/3, 4 walks, very concerning, and 3 strikeouts. So he's walked 3 or more in 3 of his last 4 outings. That's not a good sign. The Mets are a good hitting team, so maybe you could argue those last 2 games are an outlier, and he's stepping way down in class to face the White Sox, but the White Sox have actually hit him well in the past in 68 at-bats. 15-2 strikeout walk ratio isn't that good for the White Sox hitting. I mean, that is good for Morton, but he's allowed a 294 batting average and 824 OPS to them. That's not good for Morton. I think the over is the way to look in this game, although the money is disagreeing with me, with 86% of the tickets on the over and 60% of the cash on the over. I don't really see why the public is coming in and playing it over in a game where the White Sox are involved, but I just think the pitching is pretty bad, and at least one of the bullpens is not good, so total sitting at a pretty reasonable 8.5 here, so that's probably the way I would lean in that game. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. Mets and Reds are going to be one of my plays, so I'll hold off on that for now. Philadelphia at Miami. I don't think Miami have they announced a starter yet? Where are we at here? No, they have not. So this game is pretty difficult to handicap, man. Miami's lost 5 games in a row now, though. You got to think they're going to still step up to play Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is the top team in their division right now. Philadelphia's coming to their place. This is the series where we had the Philadelphia Karen getting involved, but that is one problem for Miami in this series, that people don't come out to Miami Stadium, man. So, at least half of the fans that are in the stadium for these games are Philly fans. It's just a sad state for Miami. So they have almost no home advantage. So that's kind of a problem. Philly is on the verge of a sweep, though. So it is possible that Philly overlooks Miami in this last game after they already took care of business in the series. They have a decent lead in their division, and who is that lead over, and who do they play next? Oh, yeah, the Mets. So Philly does return home and play the Mets starting tomorrow. So they might be looking ahead a little bit to that series, man. So I do worry about the spot the Philly is in here. Philly does not have a very good bullpen either. So I actually think they have maybe the slightly lesser of the two bullpens here. According to the ERA, they're actually slightly better now, so that's interesting. But both bullpens are not that great. Philly used 3 of their relievers yesterday. Miami only used 2. So the bullpen situation is not really a huge advantage to one team or the other. Philly obviously has a big offensive edge. They have the better offense. But do we trust Taijuan Walker for Philly? I don't. 3.92 ERA, 1.36 whip. He'll be starting for them. He's been better on the road, though. 3.63 road ERA. So he's held the run totals down for opponents, but he's not pitching well, man. His last 2 outings, he went 9 innings, and he gave up 9 earned runs, 17 hits against the Mets and Milwaukee, both on the road. Those are good offenses, but he's not pitching well, man. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He does walk too many guys as a walker. 5 strikeouts, 3 walks over those 2 outings. He was limiting the damage for a while, though. Had a decent August with a 3.14 ERA and 17-7 strikeout walk ratio, which that's not very good. The walk's too high. Strikeout rate not very high. But, I mean, he's not in good form right now, in my opinion. He does have good numbers against Miami, though, in 19 at-bats. They only have 2 hits off of him, although one of them is a home run from Otto Lopez. They only have 1 strikeout, no walks against him, a 105 average and 368 OPS. So he has held Miami down, but this is a situation where I would be pretty tempted to just take a flyer on Miami as a money line underdog here, man. Walker, certainly one of the least impressive pitchers in Philly's rotation. Miami totally undecided, though, so that's the thing. Like, you're gambling, man. You are definitely gambling if you want to take Miami here, although I somewhat lean that way just given the situation. I think it's a look ahead for Philly. Their pitcher, we know, is not that good, so it's just like, is what Miami going to put out there, is that going to be better than Taijuan Walker? That's kind of the question here, man. But you're getting Miami as a home underdog price. You know Philly's going to be overpriced in the market, so that's probably the way I would lean, but we still don't even know what Miami's going to do. Minnesota at Kansas City. Kansas City still has a little bit to play for here as they're fighting to potentially try to get a wild card here. They're a bit far back in their division to maybe think about that, but they're playing decently right now. They've won 3 games in a row. They're on the verge of potentially a sweep over Minnesota. So Minnesota, their motivation is basically to avoid the sweep here. Kansas City does have Cleveland next. Is that going to be a look-ahead type of spot? I don't really think so. I mean, Cleveland probably out of it. I do think Kansas City needs to continue to be motivated and win games here. Kansas City has the better of these 2 bullpens. They only used 2 relievers yesterday as well. Minnesota also only used 2 and used one of their long relief men, but Kansas City does get the bullpen edge here. Zach, what's up, man? Royals fan that we have in our chat. Thanks for hanging out, man. Kansas City has the worst of the 2 offenses, I would say, though. I think Kansas City has a starting pitching edge, though. I do think they have the pitching edge here. Bailey Ober is pitching for Minnesota. It's been a pretty difficult season for him. 5.23 ERA, 1.35 whip, not very good. He's been pretty bad on the road, 6.02 road ERA. He's kind of fallen back into his bad ways the last 2 times out. He came back from injury, and he pitched pretty well for a bit for most of August, but last 2 starts, including one in September, he's fallen apart a little bit. Giving up 4 runs in 5 innings in each of them. 16 hits allowed across that span. He's just way too hittable, and he's allowed 4 home runs over that span, so that's not good. And a 6-2 strikeout walk ratio is all right. He usually has pretty good command numbers. He doesn't walk that many guys, but he gives up way too many hits, man. He just leaves the ball over the plate way too much. So that is the problem with Ober. His numbers against Kansas City are not terrific, even though they're not a good offense. 139 at-bats, 21-6 strikeout walk ratio is all right, but 281 batting average, 800 OPS allowed. That's not very good. Michael Lorenzen will be pitching for the Royals. He's obviously not the greatest. He's been up and down this year. I mean, figuratively and literally, I guess, because I think they've probably sent him to the minors at some point this year, too. 4.54 ERA for him, 1.33 whip. He's better at home, though, so if you like the Royals here, you do get the better of both starting pitchers' home road splits. 3.6 ERA at home. It's a pitcher-friendly ballpark as well. He's been better than Ober recently, at the very least. I mean, Lorenzen was out for about a month, and then he came back, and the Royals actually won 3 straight starts of his. He didn't pick up a win in any of them, though. He actually failed to go 5 innings in the first 2, but he did go 5 innings against the White Sox, allowed 4 earned runs, which isn't that great, but he had a 6-1 strikeout walk ratio, so his command was on, at least in that game. And then his last outing was the best one since coming back. Went 6 innings, he gave up 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 4 hits allowed to Anaheim in this stadium. So that's a good sign. Maybe Lorenzen's trending in the right direction. Since coming back from injury, he does have a 20-5 strikeout walk ratio as well, which is not too bad. Against Minnesota, his numbers are decent. 22 at-bats. They don't have a lot of experience against him. Only 5 of their hitters have faced him before. They only have 2 extra base hits, doubles from Julian and Wallner, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 273 average, 636 OPS. So I do lean to Kansas City in this game. I think they have the pitching edge across the board in this one. The money seems to basically agree with that. They're down from -128 to -125, but 76% of tickets, 81% of the cash on Kansas City. So, yeah, it looks like the money is more so coming in on Kansas City here. So that's what we got going on in that one. I'm actually going to wind up only having one play, by the way, in baseball, so I know that's maybe disappointing, but I don't really love the baseball card here. I think if I was going to go with another game, I'm tempted to actually throw out the over in Seattle-Atlanta. It's just that total. Going over 10 is just kind of ridiculous, especially when it's not Coors Field or Tampa Stadium or the A's Stadium, so I don't know, man. But if I was going to give out a second-best play, it would probably be that at this point. Because I was looking to Houston. I was potentially going to give out Houston as a play, but I'll explain that when I go talk about this game because I don't really want to do that anymore. San Francisco at St. Louis. St. Louis, these teams have split the first 2 of the series, but I think this could be a bad spot for San Francisco, even though San Francisco debatably has more to play for because they're technically still in the hunt for their division for maybe a wild card spot, although it's kind of a long shot. But San Francisco was really hot. They'd won a bunch of recent games. They'd won 5 more games in a row until they lost yesterday. And I always talk about how when a team has a long win streak and they lose a game, it has a tendency to kind of hang them over into the next game. So I do kind of lean to St. Louis as far as the situation is concerned here. But I think St. Louis has the better of the pitching matchup, too. I'm actually maybe tempted to give out St. Louis here, but I do have some concerns about St. Louis here, too. San Francisco does have the better bullpen, although I think it's slight. I think St. Louis's bullpen is not that bad either. Both bullpens are pretty well rested here, so we got decent bullpens. St. Louis's offense has been so bad since the All-Star break that I think they actually have the worst of the 2 offenses at this point. San Francisco's offense has actually been a little bit better recently, so St. Louis does actually have a little bit of an offensive disadvantage here, but I don't think there's any way you can put your money on San Francisco with Kai-Wei Tang pitching. I mean, he's young-ish, but he hasn't been very good. 7.23 ERA, 1.71 whip. That's bad. He's actually been slightly better on the road with a 6.75 ERA, which is still awful. Did have a pretty good start last time out at Coors Field. How was that for you? Best start of the season is at Coors Field. That was his only start where he went beyond 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. He actually did have 1 5-inning shutout start against Washington, so maybe that was his best start, but it's just kind of ridiculous that he pitched that well at Coors Field. They gave up 9 hits and kind of got away with it. I'm still not ready to say that Tang is any good here, man, although he's unfamiliar to the Cardinals at least, so he might have a little bit of an edge in that regard where they're unfamiliar with him. I don't see Tang lasting more than about 5 innings in this game at most, though, so you're going to get a lot of San Francisco's bullpen, although their bullpen is good, so maybe that's not a horrible thing for San Francisco. Sonny Gray is definitely the way more proven of the 2 pitchers. He's pitching for the Cardinals. He seems to be wearing down, though, towards the end of the season. I mean, he always has really good command numbers. When his fastball, I think, gets a little bit lower velocity, his stuff becomes way too hittable. So his ERA is definitely too high now, 4.43 ERA. 1.23 whip isn't exactly that terrific either. He has been better at home, though, 3.98 ERA at home. His last outing, he got smashed for 7 runs against the A's, though. 7 earned runs, 11 hits, 3 walks. Terrible. He put so many men on base in that game, man, in 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. He's not on right now, man. He's had 3 walks in each of his last 2 outings. He had a couple of decent starts, though, really, despite the 3 walks against Pittsburgh. That start was pretty good. The one against Tampa was pretty good in those prior 2, but I don't think he's in terrific form right now, even though he did have kind of a bounce back August, where most of his starts were good in August with a 3.48 ERA, 35-8 strikeout walk ratio. So maybe he will have a little bit of a bounce back here against a weaker offense in San Francisco. But San Francisco, they've been able to hit him for power, man. 73 at bats. He's held him to a pretty low 247 batting average, but they have a really high 908 OPS given. That's high given that average is so low. That's because they have 6 home runs off him from 6 different hitters, so more than half of their hitters that have faced him have homered off him before. And he has a 21-13 strikeout walk ratio against them, so he's walked way too many of them as well. So Gray doesn't exactly do that great against St. Louis. I have a slight lean to St. Louis in this game, but I would really temper my expectations there. They're down from minus 150 to minus 142, 56% tickets, 70% of the cash coming in on St. Louis. So the money seems to be coming in on St. Louis and kind of agreeing with me, but I kind of worry about it, man. And I wouldn't really hate an over, to be honest, even though the money's coming in on the under. I don't know why all these totals seem to be disagreeing with me, although the one that I think is the best in the Seattle-Atlanta game, the market is not really disagreeing with me on that one. 78% of tickets on the over in this one. Giants and Cardinals. 86% of the cash is on the under, though. Total did go up a little bit from 7.5 to 8, but looks like the money is actually coming in on the under. Again, I worry about the starting pitching here, though, man. But I do think Gray has the upper hand there, so that's the way that I lean. Washington at the Cubs. Cubs are trying to play for playoff positioning, man, so they have something to play for. The teams have split the first 2 games of this series. The Cubs lost 2-1 yesterday. Cubs have the better offense here. Cubs have the better bullpen here. So not a whole lot going on for Washington in this game other than the fact that maybe they'll be motivated just to try to beat the Cubs. They've played decently in the series, though. I mean, they won the first game and then had a close game yesterday. Bullpen usage is lighter on the Cubs side as well, so the Cubs have the lighter bullpen usage here, but that's going to mean something. I mean, they need that to be the case because they're going with a bullpen game here. The Cubs are. Washington has Andrew Alvarez pitching, and we don't really know what this guy is yet. He's made 1 start in his major league career, even though he's not that young. He's 26, so kind of a delayed start to his major league career. I don't know exactly how good he is. He had a good start his first time out, 5 innings against Miami. He only allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Solid start from him. So, of course, he's going to be unfamiliar to the Cubs, too. So, does that mean he's going to come out and pitch well against the Cubs? He might. I mean, he at least has that unfamiliarity edge there, and he looked solid in his first start, at least. He's going up against Drew Pomeranz for the Cubs. So, the Cubs, they're going with a bullpen game here, man. Pomeranz, I mean, he hasn't made starts before, but he is definitely towards the back end of his career here. He's had a really good season, though. Pomeranz was the one who had a run of like a ton of straight appearances where he hadn't allowed a run or something out of the bullpen for the Cubs. And that ended at some point. But his numbers this year are good. 2.4 ERA, 1.11 whip. He's worse at home, though, significantly. 3.63 ERA. So very odd that his numbers are so good on the road. But he's mostly been working out of the bullpen. He actually pitched yesterday out of the bullpen, so he's going to be an opener. I mean, because he pitched yesterday, you can see what's been going on here. He's actually pitched 3 times since September 2nd, so he's only going to go 1 inning in this game, man. So he's going to be an opener, and then the Cubs are going to go with their bullpen behind him. So it's a bullpen game for the Cubs here, so I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, although their bullpen is rested. I would slightly lean to Washington in this game in the first 5 innings because I don't really want to deal with Washington's bullpen, even though I know the Cubs' bullpen will be in this game throughout the entire thing. But I don't want Washington when their bullpen gets into the game. So 83% of tickets, 84% of the cash on the Cubs. They're down from minus 195 to minus 186. So the money kind of coming in against the Cubs there. I would probably take the shot with Washington run line as the underdog, plus the half run or whatever in the first 5 innings would probably be the way to look at this game, in my opinion. The total's low, down from 8.5 to all the way to 7.5, juice to the under. And you know that probably means wind is blowing in at Wrigley, and it's probably a pretty cool day out there today too. So cool out, man. We have so much afternoon baseball, man. Everything is afternoon. There's no Sunday night baseball because football. I thought that they still did Sunday night baseball with football back, though, because Sunday night baseball is ESPN, And NFL, maybe it's just because it's the first NFL weekend. Maybe the NFL just takes over everything, because Sunday night NFL is on NBC, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. And Peacock now, probably. So I don't know, but all the games are in the afternoon here, man. Houston, Texas. I was going to give out a play on Houston because I thought this was going to be the starting pitching matchup with Luis Garcia for Houston. I actually liked the matchup with Garcia on the mound for Houston. It's not going to be him, though. It's apparently going to be Framber Valdez, who I think is pitching on short rest here after being a head case in his last outing. So I don't love that for Houston, man. So I'm going to stay away from this game. The series, I've gone 1-1 betting the series. We got Texas as the underdog, and Texas's bullpen almost blew it both games for us, man. They blew it for us last night with the under. Texas bullpen, I don't know how they've been this bad in the series, and they almost blew it for us in the first game. So I worry about that. Houston's bullpen actually has the better ERA on the season now than Texas is, so that's crazy. They're both pretty good. I'm looking at the hitting right now. Of course, Houston has the better hitting, although their hitting hasn't been that good recently, but Texas, really weak offensively. The bullpens are both good. They're both in the top 10. You can see here, Houston actually leapfrogged Texas, basically just because Texas has been so bad in the series bullpen-wise. Houston's got the more rested bullpen here, although they're still dealing with some injuries in their bullpen. So that is a bit of a concern. Their closer, Abreu, did not pitch yesterday, so they have him available today. He's their temporary closer, I guess, until Hader comes back. Texas has used a lot of their relief men over the last couple of days, man, so their bullpen is actually in worse shape than Houston. So I was looking at this and thinking, oh, well, that means I want Houston because I liked how Luis Garcia matched up here, but it's going to be Framber Valdez now, which I don't know why the fuck they're doing that. Valdez, I mean, he was slated to pitch tomorrow, I think. And we know after he gave up that grand slam in his last outing, he intentionally crossed up his own catcher. His catcher called for a curveball. He agreed to throw the curveball, I think, low and away. And then he threw a fastball on the inside part of the plate, like right at his catcher's elbow, and tied up the catcher, crossed up the catcher. Could have wound up being a wild pitch. Although the catcher was able to knock it down, so nothing happened. I don't think there was anybody on base at the time either because he just given up a grand slam, so it wouldn't have mattered. But, yeah, I think Valdez did that intentionally. He's a worry, man. He's definitely a concern as far as his headspace. It's not good right now, so that is definitely a concern for Valdez. He's had a decent season overall, 3.4 ERA, 1.2 whip. I mean, he's definitely a talented pitcher. He's also a bit of a fat ass at 5'11", 230. He's big, and he's got to cut his hair. His hair looks fucking stupid, man. If you've seen him pitch live, he's got the long dreadlock ponytail. It looks really, really stupid. He's been worse on the road, 4.74 ERA on the road. Give up 6 runs in that outing last time out against the Yankees. But again, most of it was on that grand slam. He did still have 8 strikeouts and 1 walk, so that start wasn't really as bad as it looked. So he does seem to actually kind of be back in form over his last 2 starts. He shut out Colorado over 7 innings to start before that. So even though he had a bad August, 17-12 strikeout walk ratio, 5.64 ERA, I actually think he's back in form a little bit here. So there is that. And he's done decently against Texas. At home against Texas earlier this year, he gave up no earned runs in 6 innings with 10 strikeouts, no walks against them, 4 hits. And then the other time in this stadium, he went 7 innings, had 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, and allowed 3 earned runs on 6 hits to Texas. So he's been good against Texas, although it is worrisome that he's way worse on the road, 4.74 ERA on the road. That's not good, but this is a pitcher-friendly park, and like I said, he's been good against Texas. So if you do like Houston, I think you do it. I would still say you probably do have to agree that Houston does have the better starting pitcher in this outing, though, between Valdez and Corbin. I mean, you know me, I am not a Corbin fan by any means. Valdez against Texas in 141 at-bats, he's pretty much dominated them. 49 strikeouts, 11 walks, 170 average, 507 OPS, so he's held them way down. So he does have good numbers against Texas. Patrick Corbin seems to be becoming the Corbin of old again here. He was better to start the season, man, but he's been kind of trailing off a bit, tailing off, whatever the phrase is. He's not doing well anymore, man. He's got a 4.48 ERA now in the season, 1.35 whip. None of that is good, although he's been better at home, 3.2 ERA at home in this pitcher-friendly park here. But over the last 4 starts, he's given up 4 or more earned runs in 3 of the 4. That's not good, although some of them were on the road against Toronto and Arizona, but so you can forgive him for that because those are good offenses, but also on the road at Kansas City, he didn't do well. But again, those were all road starts, although he had a couple of bad home starts to start August too against the Yankees and Philly. I know those are good offenses. Houston's offense is capable at least though. And Corbin against Houston, his numbers are not that good. In 82 at bats, 19 to 10 strikeout walk ratio. That's certainly not good. Too many walks, 280 batting average, 737 OPS. So he does have the worst matchup numbers there. Houston jumped from -107 to -129. I think that was with the pitching change, though. So that's another reason why I liked Garcia there. He has good numbers against Texas. He's under the radar, and you were going to get a cheaper price on Houston with Garcia on the mound. So I was going to give out Houston as a play, but now I don't think I can because now with Valdez being announced as the starter, the money line moved to -129. I don't think that was actual professional money moving that line. I think the odds makers had to move that line because Valdez gets more respect from the market. So I think that's why the line moved. And as you can see here, 63% of tickets on Houston, but only 55% of the cash. So the money seems to be coming in on the Texas side. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like Houston's just a public road favorite that you don't really want to deal with. So that's a game I'm not going to want to get involved in, man. I'm going to sit on the sidelines for that one as well. San Diego at Colorado. This game, oh, my God. These teams have split the first two games of the series. San Diego did finally end their loss streak, so that could be good momentum moving forward, man. They lost 5 games in a row. They finally won yesterday. And when a team is mired in a loss streak like that and then they get it going and they break that loss streak, a lot of times that will carry over into the next game and they'll have some positive momentum going into the next game. So that's a positive for San Diego. They have something to play for because they're still playing for the division. They're playing for at least a wild card spot here. So they do want to win. Houston, by the way, and Texas, they're both still in the running for their division as well. So they're both going to be motivated in that game as well. San Diego, of course, again, they're going to be motivated here. Colorado, their motivation, if there is motivation, will be that San Diego's a good team and they're in their place. So it's a divisional matchup. Colorado should come out motivated, although we know San Diego has the way better of the two bullpens. They haven't used that much of their bullpen over the last couple of days. Colorado, more bullpen usage from them. So Colorado's bullpen is already the worst of the two bullpens, but the usage is also not in their favor. Starting pitching, Dylan Cease for San Diego. He's not having a great season, man. 4.81 ERA, 1.34 whip. He's been very inefficient with his pitches. He doesn't go deep into games. He's been bad on the road, 5.81 ERA, which doesn't bode well when he's going to have to pitch at Coors Field here, even though I know Colorado's offense is not good. They're bad enough, even though they're a little bit better at home, they're bad enough that San Diego probably does have the better offense, even though San Diego's has not been very good this year. Cease, I mean, again, he's not that good, man. He's gone fewer than 5 innings in 3 of his last 4 outings. He's allowed 4 earned runs in 2 of those outings. I mean, it's not a good sign. His strikeout walk ratio has not been good. Did strike out 7 last time out against Baltimore in 4 innings. So that's fine, but he only lasted 4 innings. Again, threw way too many pitches. Give up only 2 runs in that outing, but I'm not ready to say he's back in form after that. He had a 4.94 ERA in August, 30 to 14 strikeout walk ratio. These are bad numbers, man. And then against Colorado, his numbers are good against Colorado, though. In 40 at-bats, 21 to 5 strikeout walk ratio, 175 average allowed, 517 OPS. So he does do well against Colorado, but I think he's probably only going to be in the game for maybe 5 innings in this one, man. I don't know how well he's going to do in Coors Field, given the form that he's in right now. So I do worry about him. Tanner Gordon pitching for Colorado. Not good numbers on the season, 6.07 ERA, 1.58 whip, but he's actually better at Coors Field, so he actually has the advantage of the home road splits. His home ERA is actually better than Cease's road ERA. 4.5 ERA at home, go figure. He pitches better at home. And Gordon is actually the pitcher in the better form of the two. And most of these recent starts have been at home for him, and he's still been better. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in his last 4 outings. He went 6 innings in the last 3. And those were against the Dodgers. Those 4 starts are against Arizona, the Dodgers, Houston, and the Cubs. And he had just gotten bombed by Arizona to start before that start. So he faced all good lineups there, and he did well against all of them. So he's actually stepping down in class to face this particular lineup. He also had a 19 to 5 strikeout walk ratio over that span too. So shockingly, Gordon is actually in better form than Cease. Go figure, man. His numbers against San Diego are pretty good in 14 at-bats. They only have 2 hits. They do have a home run from Iglesias, but 4-to-1 strikeout walk ratio, 143 average, 557 OPS. So Gordon has been pretty good against San Diego, so crazy to think about, but I actually lean to Colorado. First 5 innings run line here. You could probably get them plus a run or maybe even a run and a half, given that San Diego is up from minus 220 to minus 230 on the money line here. 89% of tickets, 99% of the cash coming in on San Diego. But I actually think Gordon could dual cease, man. He can at least hold his team to within 1 run or so against San Diego, I think. So that's the way I would lean in that game. I would go Colorado. First 5 run line. I know it sounds insane, but that's the way that I would lean in that game. Somewhat tempting to make that a play, to be honest, but I still don't know if I want to really trust Gordon, but that's what we have there. Anaheim, Andrew's team here, Anaheim, they've gotten absolutely blasted in the series by the A's. The first game, I thought they would lose because they were returning home from a road trip. That's not a good sign. Not a good spot, excuse me. You usually get a little bit distracted, but after getting blown out 10-4, I thought they would do better in the next game. It was a bounce-back spot. A lot of times when you lose that first game back, you do better the next game back. And they did worse. They lost 17-4 yesterday. So it's been an embarrassing series for the Angels, man. Kikuchi, I think, was terrible in the game yesterday. Yeah, he got absolutely annihilated. JT Ginn completely outpitched him. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anaheim should be in a bit of an embarrassed mood here, though, man, and they're looking to avoid the sweep here. So I think they will show up with some purpose in this game. I mean, both of these teams are out of it. So not a whole lot to play for here, although the A's have been playing the better baseball, the two recently. The A's do have the better offense. They have a potent offense. Both bullpens are bad, so I don't even know which bullpen I want to say is better of the two. They're both bad. So it is an over type of series, and the over is cashed easily in the first 2 games, which does kind of make sense. The bullpen usage isn't that high on either side, but the bullpens are bad. The A's, I mean, they might actually still get a win here, though, man, because they got Severino on the mound. He's actually not been that bad for them recently. Because I'm thinking, you got to think Anaheim's going to want to avoid the sweep here. But Anaheim, again, they've been playing above their pay grade. Their run differential is very, very bad. It's the worst in the American League, and it's just gotten worse in this series. So they're even worse than the record looks, as I keep saying. But, yeah, Severino is pitching for the A's. His season's been a little bit crazy, man, because he's really, really bad at home, and he's been really good on the road. He has a 4.65 ERA, 1.32 whip overall. Not good numbers overall, but 2.94 ERA on the road as opposed to 6.34 in that terrible A's AAA stadium that they play in Sacramento. So Severino way better on the road. He's been way better in his recent outings. He's missed about a month. He's been injured. He came back, and last time out, he shut out St. Louis for 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, so it was a good outing for him coming back from injury. He's a veteran, man. He's been around for a while, so you kind of had to figure that coming back from injury, he'd be used to that type of thing. He'd do well again, and he did. I know it was against a lineup that's really been bad recently, St. Louis, but if you go back to before he was hurt, Severino had actually allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in 5 straight starts prior to that. So in his last 6 outings, that's been the case. He's allowed 2 or fewer in all but one of them, which was a road start against Washington. But still, he's actually pitched pretty well, including all those starts except one of them were on the road. But even the home start against Seattle was actually a good one in the mix there. So he is actually in pretty good form. His numbers against Anaheim are concerning, though. In 49 at-bats, 11-2 strikeout walk ratio is good, but 306 average allowed, 803 OPS, that is not good. So he has not done that well against Anaheim. So that is a bit of a concern there. Got to worry about that. Anaheim's got Mitch Ferris pitching. He's a young pitcher who we don't have a whole lot of sample size to look at here with him. I didn't even see when he was coming up to the majors or whatever. He's made 1 start in the majors so far. It was at Kansas City, so it was a weak lineup that he got to face at a pitcher-friendly ballpark. He went 5 innings, he gave up 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, picked up a win. It was a decent outing for him. I didn't look at his scouting because I wasn't going to attempt to play this game, but Ferris did pretty well in that outing, and you know he's going to be unfamiliar to the A's lineup, so he might actually do fairly well in this outing. So, I mean, it's a slight lean for me towards the under in this game, although we see 65% of the cash on the over, 90% of the cash on the over. So the market doesn't agree with any of my opinions on the totals, basically, today. Totals just sitting at 9.5. Again, given that pitching matchup, I think it's too high, but I would go first 5 innings only. Plus, this series has been such an over series. The A's have scored so many runs, man. It seems like something has to kind of regress back to some sort of mean here, man. It seems like all that's going to do is jack up the total a little bit too high, given how high the totals have been. But the bullpens are so bad that I would say you got to go first 5 innings under. That would be my lean in this game. The A's are down from -120 to -118 as a moneyline road favorite, which is really insane. 56% of tickets on them, but 50% of the cash is evenly split. So the money seems like it's backing Mitch Farris more so. So some money coming in on Anaheim there. And again, if you agree with that, with the professional money there, it does seem like the under does make sense in this game, meaning that Farris, the more unknown, might actually pitch well in this one. So we'll see what happens. But that's my lean, first 5 inning under in that one. And the Red Sox at Arizona. Oh, boy. Arizona's won 4 in a row. They're on the verge of sweeping the Red Sox, even though Arizona is out of it for the season. They're now above 500. The Red Sox have too many injuries. The Red Sox not playing well. Arizona, will they overlook the Red Sox with San Francisco on the horizon? I'm not so sure. Probably not really. Red Sox might show up motivated to try to avoid this sweep, though. They've lost 3 games in a row. It has not been good for the Red Sox. These injuries are starting to take their toll. The Red Sox are not going anywhere, man. Like I said, it's possible they still don't even make the playoffs, to be honest. This is just a bad situation. Red Sox do still have the better bullpen. Arizona's bullpen isn't good. Not heavy usage for the Red Sox out of their bullpen. Arizona, even lighter usage, though. But still, Red Sox do have the better bullpen. Arizona has the better offense. Red Sox offense has been sputtering, and now that Roman Anthony not coming back, I mean, this is bad. Bad stuff for the Red Sox here. Brian Bayo is pitching for the Red Sox. He has been one of their better starters since he started getting his wildness under control, because his wildness was a huge problem, but he was just inducing so many ground balls that he was getting away with it. It's good that he's a ground ball pitcher for a stadium like this, though, because this is a hitter-friendly ballpark. So maybe he'll adapt decently to this ballpark. He's got a 3.07 ERA, 1.23 whip on the season. Those are good numbers. 2.85 ERA on the road. So he is better on the road. He's given up 3 or fewer earned runs in his last 4 outings. And in 18 of his last 19 outings. I mean, that's just insane that he's just not allowing that many runs, even though, again, he wasn't actually pitching as well as that would indicate until more recently, where, as you can see, more recently his numbers have been better, like 25-6 strikeout walk ratio in August, 2.27 ERA, so he did pitch well for the most part throughout that month and the prior month, so he is actually pitching better. Even based on the other metrics, his walk numbers have gone way down. But he did walk 3 guys last time out in a 5-inning appearance against Cleveland. Still picked up the win because the Red Sox seemed to get a lot of run support for him. 3 earned runs allowed in that one. It wasn't the greatest start for him, but I'm not ready to say that he's totally out of control or anything like that either. Arizona only has 14 at-bats against him. 6 of their hitters have faced him. They don't have any extra base hits. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 286 average, 619 OPS. So Bayo, I mean, he's done fairly well against Arizona. He's going up against Ryan Nelson, who I still think is putting pine tar in his hat because, again, I don't see how his numbers are this good this year, given that throughout his career, his whip was always like in the 1.2s. I mean, I know it's a short career, but 1.2s, 1.3s. His ERA was like in the 4s. And now this year, 3.57 ERA, 1.05 whip, pitching in a hitter-friendly park in a season where the rest of Arizona's starters have basically all been worse than they have been in the past. He got better. It doesn't make any sense. But that's been the case. Again, I think there is something going on with him. He does have a 2.6 ERA at home, so his numbers are good at home. He's been pretty good recently as well, giving up 3 or fewer earned runs in his last 3 outings after he had a little bit of a bad stretch in some road starts. 2 of his last 3 have been at home, but he did have a good road start against Milwaukee in there too. Does have a, a 16-3 strikeout walk ratio over the last 3 starts. So he's in good form right now. His numbers against the Red Sox are good in 23 at-bats, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 130 average allowed, and 565 OPS. So Nelson does have good numbers there. I mean, I think this is probably a first 5-inning under. I wouldn't really want to deal with the bullpens in this particular one. Money seems to be agreeing with me on that one. Go figure. 53% of tickets on the over, 60% of the cash on the under. Total drop from 9 to 9, juice to the under. I think first 5 innings under. Go just with the starting pitcher. I think they can both do decent enough to keep this thing under the 4.5 or whatever it might be in the first 5. So that's the way I would lean there. Arizona flipped from plus 104 to minus 108. We see the Red Sox as a dreaded public road team. 73% of tickets, but 84% of the cash coming in on the Red Sox. So the money is coming in on the Red Sox. So it looks like the money and the public maybe both on the Red Sox side. I don't know, man. Difficult to figure, but let's go to the best bet segment here. And I'll reiterate my NFL ones real quick, and then I'll get out of here. One play, Major League Baseball, and we're going to go with the Cincinnati Reds money line, minus 118. And I know the odds makers are telling you the first 5 innings are where Cincinnati has the biggest edge because you have to lay like minus 140 or something on them in the first 5. But I'm going to go with the cheaper price here, man, because Cincinnati, there's not that much of a disparity between these two bullpens. So I am still going with that. The Mets have better bullpen usage. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to go first 5, you can do that, but I still think the bullpens can do okay. I think Cincinnati's bullpen can still do okay for us in this game. And if the Mets have to go to their bullpen first, that kind of evens out the situation as well. So I'm going to go full game with the Reds on this one. This is a big matchup for both teams, man, but the Reds kind of need this game more, man. The teams have split the first 2 games of the series, with the Reds winning yesterday to break a 3-game loss streak. So that could give them a bit of momentum maybe coming into this game. The Reds are sitting at exactly 500, which is a bit more of a motivator usually because you want to get above 500, man. You don't want to drop to below 500. They're kind of in desperation mode, which I know does mean that the pressure's on, but with this price, you're basically just asking them to win the game, and that is what they're trying to do. They're still kind of in the hunt for the wild card, and the Mets are one of the teams that they need to catch, so they got to win this game for that reason. Yes, I know the Mets will want to hold them off. The Mets are still trying to battle for their own division, but the Mets they're almost like locked into a wild card position at this point, man. So the Mets might have a little bit less to really kind of play for here mentally. And then as far as the starting pitching, Brandon Sprout is pitching. Now look at that stash, man. Brandon Sprout for the Mets. He's making his Major League debut. He's got decent stuff. I know he throws a pretty hard fastball, upper 90s, and he's got an arsenal of fastball, slider, sweeper, curve change, kind of a typical arsenal. But I guess his other pitches, they're not necessarily that good. And I looked at his minor league numbers. In AAA this year, he wasn't very good. He had an ERA in the 4s. He had a whip that was like in the 1-2s. So that's not that impressive. He's not dominating in AAA by any means. And now he's coming up to the majors. Seems like it might be a little bit of a difficult spot for him. He's facing a decent lineup, although I know the Mets have the better lineup of the two here. It's still a decent lineup, and it's a hitter-friendly park here. So Sprout might be under a little bit of pressure, even though you know me, I usually like to go with guys in their Major League debut, but I have to look at their numbers to see if their numbers are that good. His in AAA don't really impress me, man, so I am a bit worried about that. And his walk number has been too high as well, and his strikeout rate is actually not that high. Even though he has a pretty fast fastball, he's not striking out a lot of guys at AAA, and if you're not fooling guys at AAA, you're not really going to be fooling guys at the Major League level either. And you know Major League hitters can hit upper 90s fastballs pretty easily. Almost everybody in the league can just hit those things. So you got to have location and movement on those things. And I read the scouting report on MLB.com specifically even says that Sprout is kind of leaving that fastball up in the zone too much, and that it doesn't have enough like rise on it or something like that to fool the hitters. So it seems not good to me. So we're going to go with who I think is the way better of these two starting pitchers. Although, whoops, I just got rid of the schedule. I wanted to have the schedule up here so I could look at the Reds. The Reds have Hunter Green on the mound, man. You know me. I'm a Hunter Green fan. I like Hunter Green, despite his puking all over the mound all the time. He's probably the best pitcher in the Reds rotation, man. I know Abbott having a really good season. Green tends to fly under the radar because he seems to get injured too often, but he's good, man. I identified him as a good pitcher even back when his numbers weren't really there yet as far as his ERA or whatever, but they certainly are now. 2.7 ERA, 0.97 whip, so he's thrown a decent amount of innings this year, and his whip is still below 1, which is very good. And he's even better at home, even though it's a hitter-friendly park. He has a 1.75 home ERA. Since he's come back from injury in August, after he missed a couple of months, his team has won 3 of his 4 outings. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in every outing. He's got at least 5 innings in every outing. His most difficult outing, the only one where he didn't really do that well, was against the Dodgers on the road. So you can give him a pass for that. I mean, he had a shutout at home against Philly. Pitched well last time out at home against Toronto. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 earned run, and 6 1/3, 5 hits. So he's pitching well recently, and he's pitching even better at home. He basically just picked right up where he left off. And his numbers against the Mets are solid. In 65 at-bats, 15-4 strikeout walk ratio, 231 average allowed. The only concern is that he has a 752 OPS allowed to them. So the home runs, it's because of the home runs. So that seems like a little fluky to me. Pete Alonso has hit 2 home runs off him, but he is only 2 for 9 off him. So I'm a little bit less worried about that. I think overall it does suggest that his numbers are good, and we know Green is good. Some of those numbers might have been in the past before he was as dominant as he is now. And the money seems to be backing this one up too. Here it is. Even though Cincinnati did drop from -123 to -117, they got 53% of tickets, 76% of the cash coming in on this. So the money is coming in on Cincinnati. I like it. I'm going to back Hunter Green in this one, man. So that is going to be the only baseball play. I don't love the baseball card today, so that'll be the only one. So that's going to do it, man. Did I put the best bets segment out, right? The graphic. I'll put it up again just in case. My autism, man. So once again, baseball, we're going to have the Reds money line, and then NFL, go watch my NFL show from last night, man, if you want the analysis. We got the Jets +3, Giants +6, Houston +3. So you can go check out the NFL show for the analysis on those. I know it sounds bad, obviously. You know me, I go very contrarian, especially in football. So we will see. It looks like I'm a little bit worried that the money's not totally supporting the Jets one right now. Steelers, 66% tickets, 68% of the cash, but they are still public, so do with that what you will. The Colts have moved up, by the way, so quick money read here. I'm going to do a quick market read here. The Colts have moved up a little bit, so they're an anti-public favorite, so I do like the Colts. Jags seem to be getting a lot of late money, so they seem to be the preferred side there. The money is still coming in towards the Giants, even though it looks like the line has moved up maybe a little bit, so you might be able to get 6.5 on the Giants, even though it looks like the smarter money is actually still coming in towards the Giants. It looks like Bengals dropped even further on the line there with the cash seemingly coming in towards the Browns, so that they look like the way to go in that game. The money looks like it's now coming in on the Patriots late, even though I initially kind of leaned to the Raiders, and I think they have more continuity there, but that's a tough one to gauge, man, so I'm going to have to kind of rethink that, and the money's kind of coming in on the over now that the total, it looks like the total went up even though it's raining now, which is insane to think about, so that's not going to be a game I'm going to recommend anything. And I got to figure out which team to pick them in that one. Cardinals, very public with less of the money on them. So that's very concerning because I think I like the Cardinals as my survivor play. I'm going to have to survive in week 1. That is brutal. Falcons look like they have the money still, like I talked about yesterday, the cash coming in on them. So that looks like the right way to go. Broncos are still a public side. Looks like the money more so kind of backing the Titans plus the points there. Looks like the money is still fading the 49ers, but that was one I have difficulty with that one, man, because I really don't love the Seahawks, especially in their first game with all these new pieces there. So it's very weird to see the professional money kind of going with the Seahawks in that game. A little bit worrisome. I don't know what to do with that game. And then the Packers still look like an anti-public favorite at home, but the money is slightly coming in on the Lions, although I think I still maintain my lean to the Packers in that one. The money's kind of coming in on the Rams a little bit here as far as the number. You might be able to get 3.5 on Houston, but I like Houston in this one. If you can get 3.5, I mean, that's obviously an even better number there. Ravens, the money seems to be coming in on the Ravens now. I talked about that last night, so I do lean to the Ravens in the night game. And then tomorrow, we'll talk about tomorrow's game tomorrow, but the Vikings, I think, are the right side there. Cash percentage doesn't reflect it right now, but it looks like the line is at least kind of moving their direction. So quick market read there. Oh, sorry. Fuck. Man, I'm sorry. I thought I still had the screen up, but there you go. Real quick rundown there. But I got to get this video up. I got to get my Instagram videos up. Got to get my picks settled. I do still have like an hour and a half, though. Got to get ready for it. But yeah, there's the read for you there real quick. I mean, you can just go. I mean, this is pre-games event center if you want to just go and look at it yourself. Anyway, that's going to do it, man. Anna, what's up? Thanks for saying hi. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. Obviously, like, subscribe here on YouTube to Bettor Off Dead. We're on the audio, so give me a good review over there, too. Spotify, Apple. Covered in Uke is my ukulele project on YouTube, so check that out. And then patreon.com/learntotode. You can throw some support towards me, and you get some bonus Uke content, which I know I have to still keep up with that because it's just so quick to just post shit on Twitter, and I got to keep up with it. I think I'm behind by 1 or 2 of the covers that I posted on Twitter as far as putting them on YouTube, and I got to get them back on the Spotify feed for the Patreon, so I know I have to do that, man. I gotta consider the Patreons, but that's going to do it for now. feel like I'm a really busy man here, man. But everybody have a good Sunday. Happy NFL day. Red Zone is going to suck. Fucking ads. I hate this shit. ESPN, Disney, they ruin everything. This is for them. Fuck off. ESPN, Disney, fuck all of you. You have to ruin everything. Red Zone was perfect since its inception, and now you have gone and fucked that up too. The NFL is also, they're also at fault for that, so fuck them all. That's going to do it. Enjoy today. Peace, everybody.